Welcome to the campus of Stanford University. The 16th ranked Cardinal are back home, ready for their latest meeting with USC. And in the last several years, the series has brought two of Stanford's most memorable football victories. It's one of the biggest upsets in college football history. 2007, the Cardinal went to Los Angeles a 41-point underdog, but they ended USC's 35-game home streak thanks to a touchdown pass on 4th and 10 in the final minute. Last year, it was all Cardinal. Stanford shocking Pete Carroll's Trojans with a 55-point night, the most ever scored against the men of Troy. Now, with Lane Kiffin at the helm, USC looks for payback in a critical Pac-10 showdown in Northern California. Football is presented by Southwest Airlines. With Jim Harbaugh reviving Stanford, the rivalry with USC continues to heat up. Today, the latest chapter sees two teams coming off of tough losses and knowing another defeat likely ends their conference title hopes. Let's check the Pac-10 standings. Both teams come in at 1-1. With games currently in progress, there are 4 undefeated teams in the conference, led by the 4th-ranked Oregon Ducks, the only club at 2-0. Good evening, everybody. Mike Patrick, Craig James. It's great to have you with us. Stanford lost its first game last week, but this is a very talented football team, and a lot of people think that they still have a shot at a BCS game at the end of the season.
Me included, you included. I cannot wait to see Stanford in person and how they play. A very physical, talented team, and they're led by one of the best players in the country. Andrew Luck is fantastic. What a signal caller. 13 touchdown passes. He does have 4 picks this year, and all 4 of those are surprise interceptions. He leads a balanced attack, a very conventional offense. He'll be going against Monty Kiffin, the old wise man over there trying to help his son Lane out. Brought in from professional ranks in Tampa Bay to stop guys like Luck. He'll feel like tonight, perhaps at times, he's going against a guy like Peyton Manning. This is a really good quarterback.
Well, USC also comes into this game at 4-1, but they have played the easiest part of their schedule, and you get the feeling if that defense doesn't get better and get better quickly, next 2 months could get ugly.
Best defense is a good offense. And, you know, USC has no problems, no troubles on offense. Matt Barkley, their quarterback, is talented. He leads an offense that totals 471 yards a game. So tonight, in this particular ball game, I believe Matt Barkley and his offense, they have to score every time they have the ball, or just about, because I think Stanford will put a lot of points on the board. Score for score, it'll be a challenge.
Should be fun, Craig. We're almost ready to go from Northern California. Stanford and USC, a noisy night in the Pac-10 is about to begin. Thank you, John. One player to keep an eye on is two-way star Owen Marisic, fullback and linebacker. Jim Harbaugh calls him the perfect football player. For USC, senior Alan Bradford had a career night last week against Washington. 223 yards on the ground. He's 4th in the conference rushing race. We're almost ready to go at Stanford. This has been the Nissan pregame shift. Kickoff is next after this.
I'm really looking forward to embracing some of the great traditions at University of Tennessee.
I can't pass up a competitive challenge. It's just too good to pass up for me. I have to go.
This was not an easy decision. This was something that happened very quick.
It became very obvious when we had the chance to come back here, and we were coming back home to the greatest job in America.
An interesting trip, to say the least, that took Lane Kiffin to Tennessee and then brought him back to USC. He's standing by with Shelley Smith. Shelley.
Lane, what do you guys need to do better defensively facing another good quarterback?
Well, we're going to have to fit really well and play very aggressively. These guys are a great offense, run and pass. We're going to have our hands full all day.
How do you attack Stanford?
Well, we're going to have to do a really good job pounding the ball. You know, these guys have much improved on defense, causing people a lot of problems. So it's going to be a very tough game today.
All right, thanks. Yep. Mike?
Shelley, thanks very much. Sun setting here at Stanford Stadium. We expect a standing room only crowd for this ball game. Capacity here, 50,000.
First time I've been at their new stadium, and
Pretty,
it is impressive. What a great surrounding. I don't know that there's a better pregame environment for tailgating than right here at Stanford.
Jim Harbaugh in his 4th year at the helm here at Stanford. He took over a program that was in the dumps, 1-11 before he arrived. And he has brought everything full circle in a very short period of time. Chris Owusu is deep to receive the opening kickoff. He waits at the 1-yard line. 5th in the country in kickoff returns. Owusu across the 20 and reaches the 27-yard line. It'll be a first down from there. Andrew Luck, already #1 on the draft boards in the NFL. He will be draft eligible next year. A true sophomore, can make any throw. The National Freshman of the Year a year ago. And he runs a potent offense that is 4th in the country in scoring more than 44 points a game. They spread the field and go to the shotgun. And Luck wants to throw on first down, and it's incomplete, dropped by Stephon Taylor. Came out of the backfield and couldn't hold on.
This Stanford football team, one of the best in the country. Really looking forward to watching them, particularly up front. They're a strong group from Beeler over. Phillips and Martin on the left side, very talented and firm. The backs and the receivers, along with Luck, really hard to dial in on any one person. Owen Marisic, you see number 48 there, starts on both sides. We'll talk about all of these players tonight, but Marisic will count his snaps throughout this game.
And he is a sensational blocker. 4-man rush. Luck with time. Throws complete for about 8 yards, and he got it to Chris Owusu, who's coming off a concussion last week. He has missed 3 of the 5 games this year.
Speaking of missing, Mike, USC's defense will be without Wes Horton tonight. It's already a thin football team, especially on the defensive line, so Armstead and the boys have to step up. The linebackers, inexperienced but talented. Kennard in the middle there. He's got to make plays. Michael Morton, the leader, probably the best of that group. And in the secondary, now question marks galore, save and except Sharice Wright.
Those are all new starters. Pretty tough to replace an entire secondary. 3rd down and short. The toss goes to Taylor. And Stephon Taylor racked up Malcolm Smith. Led the charge from his outside linebacker spot, and it's 3 and out for Stanford. That's a great start for the Trojan defense.
Now, especially when you consider that Stanford, one of the best in the country, first in the Pac-10 in 3rd down conversions at 58%. A great start for a young and experienced USC defense.
Daniel Zaklinski to punt to Ronald Johnson, who is averaging a whopping 19.2 per return. That is number 6 in the country. He'll have a chance here from the 13. Got a couple of blocks. And chased out of bounds up at the 28-yard line. A 14-yard return after a punt of 53 yards. Matt Barkley, who played as a true freshman a year ago, having an outstanding sophomore season. He's #1 in the Pac-10 in passing efficiency with a rating of 163.8. And they've got the Wildcat formation on first down with Bradford as Barkley goes out as a flanker. And now Barkley throws short, goes back under center, and it's incomplete. So they tried to cross him up on first down, and it ends up in an incomplete pass.
You can't be as good offensively statistically without a solid offensive line. They are. Christopher O'Dowd at center is the leader up front. This is a group of backs and receivers that are all very talented. Bradford last week really got off. He has 9.8 per carry, a talented group as well.
He gained 223 yards last week and had to earn the starting spot in practice this week. Throw out in the flat, complete to Stanley Havili, the terrific fullback. And he's brought down at the 35-yard line by Delano Howell.
Mike, here's where I'm wanting to see if Stanford's really one of the top 10 teams in the country. And they're led by their defensive line. Are they strong enough and big enough up front? All good players. Brian Bulkey, excellent as well. Linebackers, Masafilo, he's good. There he is. Owen Marisic, again, number 48, a linebacker. But this secondary, they cannot get beat deep tonight. That is the key in this football game, not letting Barkley get behind them.
3rd and 3. Bradford is the tailback. Play action fake. And that's going to be good enough for a first down. Good hustle by Barkley. He only needed 3 yards, made sure he got it. He was chased out of bounds by Thomas Kaiser, the converted defensive end who's now an outside linebacker.
Watch the ball work. You see the fake there? Beautiful job of putting it in the belly of Bradford. Got the movement, enough movement by that linebacker and defensive end on the backside to convince them to go down, and opened up the outside. And Barkley's not a great runner, but he's got enough wheels in him to open the defense up.
First down at the Trojan 39-yard line. Bradford driving forward after the initial contact. He'll pick up 3 yards.
How about this running back situation at USC? Mark Tyler fumbled early in the game last week, which opened the door for Bradford to come in the game and get all of the yards that he did, 223 yards. You know, so, and it's been back and forth. Bradford, if he fumbles the ball, Tyler comes in. And then they've got this true freshman named Dylan Baxter that most teams in the country would love to have. He's not even on the field.
Tyler checks in. And a pass very near the sticks, complete to Woods. Taken out of bounds by Sherman. It will depend on the spot. And it looks like it's right at the sticks. And now they're going to say it is a first down.
You see the timing of that, Mike? Matt Barkley, a lot of folks don't realize and give him the benefit of the doubt because they think he's been around for a long time. Well, he's just a young guy, and only a handful of games, really. This is what, his 5th game now with Lane Kiffin. So it's just a young quarterback still learning within the system.
Bradford returns as the tailback. And he'll get the carry, picking his way across midfield to the Stanford 48. Well, Craig, think back to last year when they talked about Barkley as a true freshman playing and said he can already do stuff that some of our Heisman Trophy winners didn't do until their junior and senior year. It was tremendous praise from Pete Carroll.
And you look at the touchdowns to interception ratio through 5 games of this season. Lane Kiffin's a heck of a signal caller, and he will get the most out of Matt Barkley. We'll talk about the body work that Matt's done in the offseason to prepare himself to be successful this year.
2 tight end formation. And Barkley wants to throw. Good protection. Floats it for the near sideline and complete and out of bounds at the 25 to Bryce Butler, who makes only his 4th catch of the year, gain of 25, and a nice throw from Barkley.
Another example of throw the receiver open. This is the inside receiver now, and you'll see what he does as he chops his feet. Butler gains some time, and then Barkley delivers a ball to an open spot beyond that corner and in front of the free safety.
USC moving the ball very well in its opening possession. Bradford trying to get to the outside, cuts back to the 17-yard line. We have an update from the studio. Here's Robert Flores.
All right, Mike, here's a taste of what's going on in the ESPN family of networks. In addition to your game, LSU and Florida Gators lead 7-3 on ESPN and ESPN3.com. Number 8 and undefeated Auburn, 2 scores from Cam Newton. They lead Kentucky 14-7 on ESPN2 and ESPN3.com.
Thank you, Robert. 2nd and 4. Bradford remains in the game. Barkley short set and the quick throw. Woods to the 11-yard line. Taken down by the outside linebacker Chase Thomas. Got a good block from Brandon Carswell on the outside. And right now, everything USC is trying is working against that Stanford defense that was chewed up in the second half last week against Oregon.
And they were kind of looking forward to playing a more traditional offense.
Yeah, more conventional. And they're not looking forward to it right now. Looking forward to maybe getting a stop. Barkley on the roll. Throws complete to Johnson. Great patience by Barkley. He knew Johnson was going to be open. He just had to wait until he was, and he did, and hit him.
Stanford's defense down here in this red zone area last week against Oregon, it was just like a dance up and down the field. It was outside. It was big, explosive plays. They got to bow their back against the wall against this Stanford offense tonight.
Second and goal. Dylan Baxter, number 28, is in for the first time. And he's going to take the direct snap. This kid put up ungodly numbers in San Diego. And Dylan Baxter, on his first carry, gets his first college touchdown. He was responsible in high school last year as a senior for 79 touchdowns, including 28 touchdown passes. He's a phenom.
Compared to Marcus Allen coming out of San Diego.
That's
one of the all-time greats, right? So when you say that, that speaks volumes.
Now they go back to a conventional formation, and Joe Houston, who's had all sorts of problems kicking the football so far this year, and in a battle for his job, is on for the point after. For USC, so far, so good. They go 73 yards in 11 plays to take a 7-0 lead at Stanford. Two very important things have happened for Southern Cal in the first 6 minutes and 43 seconds of this ball game. Their defense forces the 3 and out, and then the offense goes on a sustained drive and pays it off with a touchdown from that young freshman Wildcat quarterback and running back. Harfman will kick off, and Owusu is deep for the Trojans, or for Stanford, excuse me. From the 5. Breaks 2 tackles. Gets to the 32-yard line. Let's take a look at tonight's Southwest Airlines playbook. Craig?
I thought Lane Kiffin and the offensive coaches designed a great play here. They get the backside here. Now watch what happens with the blocking on the inside and the good job of sealing and walling off the pursuit. Tight end Jordan Cameron does his job. Ronald Johnson does his. And then once you allow a talented player like Baxter the freedom to see beyond the line of scrimmage, he'll find the end zone.
Stanford and Luck start from the 31-yard line. Taylor. Room to run on the outside. Turns the corner. Picks up almost 10. Devon Kennard, the middle linebacker, a first-year starter who had never played that position before, was in on that tackle.
What has happened at Stanford this season is they've taken 5 different runners to replace Toby Gerhardt. And they've come in and they've averaged 146 a game. Through 5 games last year, Toby Gerhardt averaged 144. So 5 equals 1.
It would take 5 guys to replace Gerhardt, wouldn't it?
Well, at least they were smart enough to figure that out. Only 5 equals 1 on this campus in their way.
Thomas on a wing. Flanker screen quickly to Baldwin, and Baldwin with room to run. He's down to the 41-yard line of the Trojans, a gain of 19. Baldwin had a big sophomore year, and then last year when he got hurt, it gave other people a chance to play. He only got in 4 games and picked up 4 catches. Said he didn't handle it too well, but he's handling the success of his senior year just fine, thanks. Luck is extremely accurate, as you will see throughout this ballgame. Umana is the new running back, number 15. Play action fake, and they give it to Owusu. Owusu and around. Both of these teams very capable of running multiple sets offensively.
Well, this is just another creative way of spreading out the defense. And you look on the far right side, you're going to see it's going to come around from this way. And what happens is you got that defense. They're looking, trying to figure out where's play action coming from. And then you get the speed of Owusu coming around. It's just a tough job by that USC defense trying to see it all.
Lamanum is a redshirt freshman with breakaway speed. He gets a carry straight up the middle. Down to the 11-yard line. It'll be another first down. Craig, you get the feeling whoever has the ball last might win this one?
That's why I made the comment we were talking on in our open. You know, score every time because both of these offenses are good. Now we're going to chronicle this USC defense tonight for you. We're going to try to show you where they're lacking. Last week in Washington, the drive that they went down with Jake Locker, how they beat them. We'll watch things, missed tackles, assignments, responsibilities. We'll chronicle it for you.
Taylor is back in there behind Luck. Luck rolling left and throwing left, has the complete pass to the goal line. Baldwin, touchdown.
First of all, it was the pistol offense, the new in vogue. They brought it from Chris Ault's Nevada, and they're bringing it all the way up here now. So when you've got the ability to make a defense unaware of left or right and staying balanced in the middle, Luck's going to find the soft spot.
When they ruled that ball broke the plane, but now they may take a look at this. That was very, very close. But if the ruling on the field is touchdown, you're going to have to find something conclusive to overrule it, and that's going to be very hard.
I think that lawyer word would be indisputable video evidence.
And indisputable means there's no question.
Means indisputable.
Tell me you're going to look in the dictionary under indisputable, and it says indisputable.
So this is the second week in a row. I'm trying to get you over to Google now. You're still on that dictionary, that paper.
I like books. Well, Google isn't going to say indisputable under indisputable either.
And it was very important for Stanford's offense to come out and match Matt Barkley.
Yeah.
And you know, their defense at Stanford will be challenged.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
Touchdown or not, they simply were not about to find anything that would let them overrule it. So Stanford will go for the tie. Nate Whitaker is on for the point after.
Let's go, Nate!
And Baldwin has his fourth touchdown catch of the year. We're tied at 7 at Stanford. USC and the Cardinal both at 1-1 in the Pac-10, probably playing for their conference lives tonight.
Saturday Night Football on ABC, presented by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Responsibility. What's your policy? And Dr. Pepper. There's nothing like a pepper.
A beautiful campus in an equally beautiful part of the country. Stanford University. Not in the city of Palo Alto, as you have been told so many times, but in the city of Stanford.
In honor of President Hoover, graduate of here. Tall building. A little research prior to the game tonight.
I wondered what you were doing.
Yeah.
You were Googling yourself, weren't you? This kick's going to go out of the end zone. Randy Moss is back in Minnesota. And Brett Favre goes back to New York on ESPN's Monday Night Football as the Vikings take on Mark Sanchez and the Jets. ESPN Monday Night Football at 8:30 Eastern. Can you imagine Brett Favre now having that deep weapon to go with everything else he's got? And there's the quarterback comparison between the two. This should be exciting. Favre's passer rating is going to go up. Trust me. Randy Moss is still the most dangerous receiver in football.
When he wants to be.
He'll want to be. Barkley with time and throws too high. Intended for Brandon Carswell. That was the first pass that's been incomplete that wasn't dropped.
This USC offense, it wasn't 2 or 3 years ago when they were really trying to work themselves out of a small box. You used to see the little slants and the receivers take it the distance. They've now pushed it more. And this Stanford secondary, especially the corners, really aware of the desire to get vertical in this game.
Alan Bradford back at tailback on 2nd and 10. He wears number 21. Barkley with a short set goes out in the flat to Johnson. And Ronald Johnson is taken down by Richard Sherman. And Sherman is one of those guys that Stanford says we have to have him play well for us to win. He's got to be that standout corner that we count on.
This 3rd down 5 range, this is a very important range in this ball game. And again, back to the 3rd down conversion rate on the season at 52% for USC, and a very solid conversion rate because of the decisions Barkley makes.
Osbury is in as an extra wide receiver. And whistles will kill this play.
Head ball. False start. Offense, number 70. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
That's their best offensive lineman, Tryon Smith.
And you know why that happened, Mike? That Stanford defensive front wouldn't get set. They kept moving in and out and wouldn't give them the look at USC so they could make a decision on their calls up front.
Tyron Smith, 6'5", 280-pound junior. Now 3rd and very long. Slant incomplete, intended for Carswell. Stanford says they intercepted it, and they did. Howell. I thought that ball hit the ground, Craig.
Well, you know what? I couldn't tell because the defensive back's body was covering the ball. Yeah, that looks like the ground. Ball on the field has been an interception. That ball bounces. This will be a quick decision.
Previous play is under further review.
And I'm not so sure Michael Thomas wasn't holding the receiver trying to come across the middle of the field.
That, however, is not review.
I know it. That ball bounces. To me, that's indisputable video evidence.
Seeing it live, I thought the ball bounced.
Yeah, I thought the ball hit the ground. Bounced up.
But the ruling was an interception.
Correct. And I think there's video evidence to support turning the call.
This would be a huge break for Stanford. 3rd and long, they tried to fit one in there. If the call holds, Stanford would have the ball at the Southern Cal 32-yard line.
Hands were not underneath that football.
But is that indisputable from that angle?
It was for me.
After further review, the ball hit the ground. It's an incomplete pass. 4th down and 10.
So it's a break for USC as they'll get to punt the ball away instead of give it up in their own territory.
Stanford defense came up with an answer. Different looks on that series there. And then the 3rd and 5 to have the false start really put USC's offense in the hole.
It looks like Drew Terrell is deep to receive. There are 2 number 4s for Stanford. He makes a late call, and it was Terrell. He makes the fair catch after a 41-yard punt. Farmers Insurance bringing you aerial coverage of this game and coverage for your auto, home, life, and business. Jim Dexter, the pilot, and Jeff Vaughn, the cameraman. A beautiful day to fly in California. And the only difference between a Zeppelin and a blimp, in case you were wondering, a Zeppelin has an internal framework.
Learn something new every day.
Didn't even have to Google it. Luck will start from his own 39-yard line. Play action fake to Taylor. Throws to Taylor on the screen. Set up well. Taylor hurdles one tackler out near midfield. It's a 1st down. Thanks to our friends at EA Sports, Craig James breaks down USC's defensive problems with the James game.
You know what? This is now make a decision. Sharice Wright, best player in the secondary. It looks like USC wanted to blitz the quarterback. They got play action. Locker last week comes out, throws. Now you've got everybody chasing a receiver well behind the secondary. Easy touchdown. You have to understand the situation. The last play of the game, Washington's just trying to line up and kick a field goal. They push the pile 6 yards. You can't allow that to happen as a defense. You've got to bone up and stop them.
Wilkerson is in for the first time at tailback. This is a young man they say could be the future of this program at running back. Sharice Wright up from the corner makes a solid tackle. Wilkerson, they said in practice, every 4th run, he's gone.
Well, that's not good news then for Monty Kiffin and USC trying to correct their defense. I talked to Monty the other night about his defense. He said, look, we've got players. You know, we're pretty good on the defensive line. Lost a really good player in Horton. We're really inexperienced at linebacker, and the secondary is learning. So just the missed tackles and understanding the game.
Luck with time over the middle and a solid catch down at the 39-yard line on a beautiful throw. Luck completes it to Baldwin. Let's check in with Robert Flores.
All right, Mike, Taco Bell studio update. A couple of other Pac-10 teams. Oregon State leading 17-7, looking for more on number 9 Arizona. But Ryan Katz is picked off by Joseph Perkins. That game is at the half. Number 4 Boise State leading Toledo 15-7, end of 1. That game on ESPN3.com.
Thank you, Robert. Wilkerson is back in. It's another 1st down for Stanford. They are moving the ball well again against USC. Good protection for Luck. Back shoulder throw complete to Baldwin. The defender never turned around, never saw the ball.
It's nice coverage, Mike, but the back shoulder throw to Baldwin, the ability for Andrew Luck to put it right where he wants to put the football. There's no way the defender, Harris, has a chance to come back and make that play. Baldwin knew where the ball was going to be.
Torrin Harris, the redshirt freshman, just got lost, and it cost him a big play. Luck, 5-step drop under pressure. They got him. Ball's loose. Southern Cal has it. Luck got swallowed up by 3 players. Nick Perry knocked it away. Jarrell Casey came up with it.
This is an offensive line that's only allowed 2 sacks on the season. Very good at protecting. Only 7 sacks all of last year. Luck's got coverage downfield, has to get rid of the football. Not an elusive guy in the pocket. And a big play for USC. Jarrell Casey, a dominant player, had to have him step up in this ball game.
Luck can move, but he's not Jake Locker. Not what they faced a week ago. Bradford behind Barkley. They take over at the 20. Barkley under pressure, and down he goes to the 14-yard line. The pressure came from the nose man, Sione Fua. And he relentlessly pushed his way up the middle till he got to the quarterback.
And this is just on the offensive line. 68, Butch Lewis, the left guard. The coach has told us he's not playing up to the standard that we need him to. His head went down on contact. When your head goes down, your body is finished as a football player. You cannot be balanced.
And because of that, Barkley was finished. Fuller right up the gut. That's his 3rd sack of the season. And around to Woods. A flag is down, so is Woods at the 19. Woods coming off a thigh injury. One of those players, they say they've got to get the ball to him more frequently to be successful. Same thing with Ronald Johnson. Talking to Stanford, so you assume the call is against USC.
Illegal formation. Offense, 5 men in the backfield. The penalties decline. 3rd down.
Lane Kiffin arguing with one of the officials after that call.
Mike, I want to remind you and everybody that this is a defense that gave up 626 yards 7 days ago to Oregon. They're playing at a different speed today. Either that or USC's playing down a speed or 2.
I believe it might be the latter. Could also be the former. Tyler, number 26, in at tailback. A lot of pressure. Back shoulder throw complete. What a catch by Woods. That time the Stanford defensive back got lost. Gain of 28, a big 3rd down conversion.
Lane Kiffin told us last night in our meeting, he said, you know what, Matt Barkley is just a hair away, 1 or 2 plays away in each ball game from becoming a great quarterback. Avoiding the contact and the sack in the backfield and getting a ball down the field, that was tremendous effort.
We told you Sherman was the guy they said had to play exceptionally well for them. He was the guy who got burned on that play. Absolutely nothing doing for Bradford. In fact, pushed back from the line of scrimmage.
You know what, as we end this first quarter, you're seeing that Stanford's defensive line right now in this quarter has beaten USC's O-line.
And this would be a horrible blow for USC. Their best lineman, Christopher O'Dowd, the senior center, extremely talented, who was hurt most of last year, is down. He's one of 2 seniors on that line, and he has played so well. Millions of people watch the family go from ordinary to extraordinary, and the adventure is just beginning. Michael Chiklis stars in the super-powered series ABC's No Ordinary Family, all new Tuesday at 8, 7 Central on ABC. Craig, there's something about the continuity of offensive line play. If you get one guy hurt, it can really make a huge difference, and especially if you're talking about your leader, O'Dowd.
And we're talking about a football team that is 67 guys that are even on the ball club. I mean, it's not like you have depth anywhere.
True.
And so, yes, you're right. And O'Dowd, a leader, a good football player, would be sorely missed.
And, of course, they're down in the number of scholarship players they have because of the NCAA sanctions imposed on them, and transfers on top of that. Guys who would otherwise not have a chance playing a bowl game were allowed to transfer without penalty, and several did. And it's not going to get much better. They're going to lose 10 scholarships each year for the next 3 years. That will be the end of the quarter here at Stanford. USC and the Cardinal tied at 7. Welcome back to Stanford. Isn't that pretty? What is not to like when you visit California? USC from its own 46. Bradford the tailback on 2nd and 12. Four-man rush against Barkley. Guns it down the middle, complete. What a catch by Robert Woods, and a nice throw by Barkley. You said at the beginning of the telecast, maybe for Southern Cal, the best defense is a good offense, and they've shown that right now. If you keep it away from Stanford, you're doing all right.
Did you see the throw by Barkley there? First of all, Christopher O'Dowd, the center's back in. That's good news for USC. But Barkley has to keep Stanford on the sidelines. Andrew Luck can't come out there. And so far, this USC offense doing what they've done all season, being very effective.
Running play on first down will pick up about 3 for Allen Bradford. 4th in the Pac-10 in rushing, averaging 100 yards a game. His average went up by leaps and bounds after 223 yards a week ago.
He's at 9.8. I guess that keeps the other great backs at bay for now.
Yes, it does. Now they had a shotgun formation for the Wildcat Dylan Baxter, and then they run the quarterback back under center again. Throw to the tight end Cameron, and he's taken down by Howell, a couple of yards shy of a first down.
You see all that movement out there? That's classic. That's getting you the one-on-one big receiver matchup, an easy 8-yard hookup, pitch and catch, very simple, high percentage.
Really helps the quarterback with all that motion because he sees where guys are going to be able to go and where the opening is going to be, especially if you got somebody who's bright like Barkley. Tyler is in there in the eye behind Havili, and Tyler will get the call off the right side. Breaking tackles down to the 16-yard line.
I mean, that USC offensive line on the right side just pummeled and caved down in. Look at the right side. Beautiful job of Rhett Ellison just dominating, sealing off, giving the edge there.
Just driving guys 3, 4, 5 yards off the ball. Baxter in the Wildcat. Handoff, fumble. Stanford has it right in the arms of Richard Sherman. Christmas comes early. Here you are, Richard Sherman, minding your own business, just coming up, trying to help on a tackle, and hello.
And Stanley Havili is one of the better, more dependable leaders of this USC offense. Gets up in there, just fighting for it, gives it up. That unique look, that Wildcat, giving Baxter the ball, letting him play his old high school role as a quarterback. Looked nice. Turned it over, though.
Howell got a hand in there and shook the ball loose. And Stanford takes over at its own 15. Blitz coming. Luck under pressure all the way back to his own goal line and throws it out of bounds. That is the second time they forced Luck to his left and really pressured him. Let's check in with Shelley.
Lane Kiffin said he told his team in the locker room before they took the field that the storyline of this game, when it's all said and done, will be how USC's defense came back. That would be the national storyline. He guaranteed it, and then he added under his breath to me, we'll see if that works.
You know what? If you don't tell your team they're going to be the storyline, their unit, I mean, he's putting the pressure on, guys. I guarantee you there are 11 guys out there with a Trojan helmet on that could play anywhere in America. Step up and play.
Gotten some good pressure on Luck. Taylor fighting off tacklers. Taylor should have been stopped after 5 yards. Instead, he gets 11.
You know, everybody's throwing dirt on this USC defense, and I guess statistically they're earning it. They're still talented, but they are inexperienced. They got a new coach. I mean, Monty Kiffin's in here. It's going to take time for him to get his guys in place.
But if you're a USC fan, here's the disturbing thing. They have not exactly played murderer's row in the first 5 weeks. And these are the numbers they are giving up against inferior opposition. Short set for Luck. Completes it to Owusu. Owusu with game-breaking speed, still on his feet to the 39-yard line. Chris Owusu, 35 yards.
The vision of Andrew Luck comes into play here. Owusu is coming around, and when Owusu comes across the field, Luck catches him and immediately gets him the football, a catchable ball that he can continue with his pace down the field. It's really hard to defend against Andrew Luck. You cannot let him sit back there without being hit.
If you've got enough time to throw crossing patterns to fast receivers, you're going to eat up a defense. Taylor hit at the line, dives forward for maybe a yard and a half. And it's not just the total yardage that Southern California's defense has given up this year. They have given up one big play after another. Look at those numbers. 15-yard completions or worse coming into the day. And that's in the nation. They are the worst in that department overall of 120 teams.
There's Ed Orgeron, defensive line coach. Also helps coordinate the defense.
Luck got a block inside the 25 to the 20-yard line. Gain of 19 for Luck, who has rushed for 220 yards this year. He is not spectacular. He's not going to outrun a lot of guys, but he runs hard.
Watch the read there on the end-man line of scrimmage. Defensive end Perry falls in, and the old Houston Stratford Spartan takes off around the corner.
Sounds like your school.
My old high school.
Jim Harbaugh encouraging the troops, a guy who has done a magnificent job with this program. Handoff to O'Manum. Harbaugh with a storied career at Michigan, 15 years in the NFL. Somebody who earned a great nickname, Captain Comeback, when he was with the Colts. He was the author of many great comebacks and was the AFC Offensive Player of the Year in the middle of his career. He was a good one. His dad, of course, longtime coach at Western Kentucky. His brother's the head coach of the Ravens. Luck throws underneath. That's going to be a 1st and goal at the 7-yard line. Catch made by Baldwin.
Okay, now here's an example of a quarterback not throwing his receiver into someone's going to smack him. It looks like a bad throw, but Baldwin, if he'd have thrown it in front of him, would have got hit and drilled by a linebacker, right? That's just a pretty darn good throw.
Yeah, Baldwin will complain about it now, but when he sees the film, he's going to say thank you so much.
Michael Morgan would have kissed him.
Yeah, that's right. Wilkerson is the deep man, following the big blockers to the outside. He walks in. Nice block on the corner by Marisic. Couple of the offensive linemen helped get out there and seal it. And Wilkerson with that game-breaking speed on a 220-pound frame. Once he gets to the corner, nobody's going to get him.
Yeah, this here is a formation victory. Look at here. You've got a chance for them to get to the outside. Again, they've walled everything off. The last-second formation change by Stanford. USC couldn't adjust to it quickly enough.
Marisic got the first big block on the corner, and then Andrew Phillips, number 71, sealed it, and it was over. Stanford with an 84-yard drive in only 8 plays, and the Cardinal up 14-7. With a strong performance in Kansas, Jimmy Johnson has taken over the chase lead, but Denny Hamlin and Kevin Harvick are hot on his heels. The chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup continues with the Pepsi Max 400 at California on ESPN tomorrow afternoon at 3 Eastern. Jimmy Johnson, a guy who has the lead, really good at protecting it. Gable and Woods are deep to receive as USC has fallen behind 14-7 after taking a 7-0 lead. Woods, great speed, seam to the outside, knocked out at the 35. He was drilled by Jarek Lancaster. Well, it has been quite a path to get back to Southern California for Lane Kiffin. A year and a third with the Oakland Raiders. Fired by them in his second season, then to Tennessee, which most people would consider a dream job. He stayed there 1 year when his dream job, the head coach at USC, opened up. Baxter in the Wildcat formation. Fakes the end around. And Baxter taken down for a gain of about 1. Back to the studio. Here's Robert.
All right, Mike, Sports Center right now presented by Sprint. Tampa Bay Rays extend their season, avoid elimination. They beat the Texas Rangers 6-3. Texas still leads this series 2-1. Game 4 is tomorrow. Marcus Lattimore of South Carolina, 3 touchdowns as the number 19 Gamecocks take down number 1 Alabama 35-21. Mike.
Thank you, Robert. I think Lattimore, he's as good as I've seen in a long, long time. That guy is some player. What a catch by the tight end, Jordan Cameron. And now it's ruled incomplete. Whoa, did he go for a ride?
Wow, what a throw. Now, I thought Barkley should have thrown the ball underneath and let his back get up the field. I'm not so certain. Hey, you know what? This is a deal where he's got control of the football, got control. Now, I know that you say you got to have it down through the ground, but that ground, we had this last week, Mike.
I think they were wrong last week. I mean, the rule says you must maintain possession throughout the entire act of the catch, and he did not.
I'm glad to see you're still carrying that with you.
I looked it up in the almanac. This one is going to be hung on to by Woods at the 47-yard line. The tackle by Batamosi couldn't shake it loose. 5 catches so far for Woods.
Now, the true freshman, they said they had to get the ball more, too. He's a player, obviously, showing a lot of poise going up, catching that ball. 5 catches, 85 yards already. I'd keep chunking it his way.
Barkley has Alan Bradford behind him. Bradford will get the carry. A little stutter step, nowhere to go. And he took a shot. Held up by Thua, and then Bulkey came through and blasted him.
That Stanford defensive line, I tell you, they got some muscle and strength up top. Look at them. They're not getting pushed back, coming off the block, making the play. Fua, just a strong beast inside, very powerful person.
Just what you need to be when you're a running back, right? Standing straight up while somebody takes a free run at you. Play action fake. Woods out in the flat. Nice spin to get away. Woods got a great block downfield. Ronald Johnson threw a sensational block at the sideline. Holy cow.
This all starts because Matt Barkley throws a ball that's catchable that allows his receiver to get it and up the field. Woods with a turn on the outside. Now you're seeing why Kiffin and the staff said we've got to get this young man the ball more often. An explosive player. Now this one right here, that ear hole, that's a clean, good, solid hit.
That all happened because Thomas missed a tackle that could have held that to a 5-yard gain. Quickly they get it out to Carswell, and Carswell out of bounds at the 2. Well, when Barkley gets in that rhythm, he is tough.
And I think what you're seeing here is you're seeing a USC football team respond to a sour defeat last year. You're seeing that they showed up and they're ready to play. I'm not so certain he went out of bounds. He just a little bit, just a little bit.
A little bit's enough, isn't it?
A little bit's enough. A little bit's a lot.
Richard Sherman missed another tackle because of the stiff arm. First and goal, quarterback keeper. No signal yet.
But don't you agree with that? I mean, when you look in a football game early on, are the athletes, did they show up? Do they have athletes? And
they do.
And yes, that's the answer. And then all of a sudden you see a guy like Robert Woods, a true freshman, step up and give explosiveness to this team, and it picks up everybody.
The length of a football away from a tie. The running back, Bradford. Barkley, the quarterback. He's going to lose yardage on this one. Flag is also down. Matt Masafilo came and got penetration and pushed him back.
Offside. Defense, number 44. Half the distance to the goal. Replay second down.
That's Chase Thomas, and half the distance is a couple of inches.
Yeah, the main thing is it just in the neutral zone there. Just gives them a chance, though, to reload. And that Stanford defensive line, bowing, flat back, not getting pushed back.
Oh, and this time it looked like SC got the jump. Matt Khalil, the left tackle.
Dead ball. False start. Offense, number 75. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
His brother Ryan, a starter for the Carolina Panthers. He's got a pro future as well, but not on this play.
Matt, you know, you got to hold your water, and it's so hard when you're down there and you know that you got to come off firing out of the blocks.
So Stanford was penalized 2 inches for the same kind of penalty that Southern Cal gets, and they back them up 5 yards.
Doesn't seem right.
No, it doesn't. Barkley may be changing the play. Quick throw, touchdown Woods. He cut inside of Richard Sherman, and the throw was right on the spot from Barkley. Nice first half for Woods, huh?
Well, you know, the thing about this is you look at a senior in Sherman, and you got a true freshman in Woods, and how Woods is able to use his body against a senior. Shields him off, protects the ball.
Well, you can't take everything away on the goal line, but you can't give up that inside from 5 yards out. And Southern Cal, on the strength of that nationally ranked offense, has come back to tie Stanford here at Stanford. 14-14, second quarter.
I want to turn up the radiation.
Saturday Night Football on ABC. Presented by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Chevrolet. And John Hancock. The future is yours.
Golden Gate Bridge in the beautiful city of San Francisco, about 20 miles north, or 20 minutes north of the Stanford campus. Stanford situated halfway between San Francisco and San Jose. Owusu is deep to receive for Stanford in a 14-14 ball game. Number 5 in the country a year ago was Owusu, had 3 touchdown returns from the 4. Drilled as he got to the 24-yard line. Got a timeout on the field. Only 4:16 to go in the half. 14-14. USC and Stanford. Farmers Insurance bringing you aerial coverage of the game and coverage for your auto, home, life, and business. Sun setting on Stanford Stadium. Only the top rim still bathed in sunlight. Stanford will take over at its own 24-yard line. Taylor, 40, midfield, knocked out of bounds at the USC 45. Greg, you should not be able to take a simple handoff and turn the corner and go 31 yards.
Mike, there are 9 guys right here. That's 9. There's no way. Torrin Harris, the backside, number 4, loses it. Containment blown, totally out of there. You just, Armstead, he falls in. You can't allow that to happen when they're 9. I'm sitting here thinking they got to check out of a running play.
I mean, Harris just made a beeline for the middle and left the corner unprotected. Luck, short set and throws incomplete, intended for his tight end Zach Ertz. Let's take a look at our Pacific Life game summary here in the first half at Stanford. And both quarterbacks have done exceptionally well. Barkley with that touchdown pass, he's had 13 out of 17 in the first half. Luck, 8 out of 11, also has the touchdown pass to his credit. He's the top 2 most efficient quarterbacks in the Pac-10, and they're showing it today. Luck out of the shotgun. Luck will keep it. Trying to get to the outside, looking for blocks, can't get it. Will pick up maybe a yard. Taken down by Chris Gallipo.
All right, time for can I Google real quick or?
This is the hardest trivia question I've ever seen. Unless you're a Stanford fan, I don't know if you're going to get this. Here's our Aflac trivia question. How many Stanford quarterbacks have been selected as the first overall pick in the NFL draft? It's not how many that's so hard, but who are they?
Why make it so hard?
It's no fun if it's easy. Luck on 3rd and 9. Blitz. Rolls away from pressure. Luck can run. Got the first down and got out of bounds. Smart play by Andrew Luck. Gain of 15. He knew because of the blitz, if he could get outside, there wasn't anybody home.
But once again, Nick Perry, number 8, loses his containment. And Andrew Luck makes a quick, decisive decision to bail and get out of the pocket, knowing he's outnumbered on the inside. And this shows that he does have some speed. This USC defense have got to settle down, stay at home, do your job, have your responsibility and your role.
Moves pretty well for 6'4", 235, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
That play will get absolutely nothing with a Manum Shane Horton breaks through and makes the tackle. Here's the answer to our Aflac trivia question, which was, how many Stanford quarterbacks have been selected as the first overall pick in the NFL draft? The answer is 3 of them. You can get John Elway. You can get Jim Plunkett. And there's Jim. But you're not going to get the other one. Bobby Garrett in 1954 by Cleveland. Luck is already number 1 on Mel Kiper's draft board.
Head ball. Ball start. Offense, number 55. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
That's the left tackle, Jonathan Martin.
Well, Andrew Luck, I think why he's number 1 on the board for Mel Kiper and a lot of NFL teams would be because of his poise, his decision making. He's going to have a tough decision after this season. 3 years removed from high school, would be eligible to jump out and go to the NFL. I think he's going to have to look. His dad, Oliver Luck, the AD at West Virginia, they'll sit down, they'll have a little powwow about what's best.
Taylor inside the 35 to the 34. Oliver Luck, of course, knows what it's like to be a star quarterback. He was at West Virginia, went into the pros, played with Houston, but played behind Warren Moon. Yeah. So he knows the, the upside and the downside of both of those.
Yeah, and what that means is, if you're Andrew Luck and you're looking at a Buffalo perhaps, some team that an organization that you might not want to have a long career with. Matthew Stafford right now, struggling big time, beat up, banged up, great player, wrong place.
Of course, you have guys that also have gotten to the point where they try to dictate where they're going to go.
Well, I know this. Stanford would love to have Oliver and Andrew get together and figure out how to stay a Cardinal.
Wouldn't they ever. We've got a timeout, 49 seconds to go in the half. Back after this. We're tied at 14 with 49 seconds to go in the first half of play from Stanford, where we have a standing room only crowd to see 2 4-1 teams go at it.
And the question was, would USC be able to get after it after that disappointing loss last week? And emotionally 100% here. Execution-wise, at times defensively some breakdowns, but all in all, in the game.
Out of the eye in a tight formation. Taylor. Loose ball. USC has it, and Luck saved a touchdown by creaming Sharice Wright. Are you kidding? That was the quarterback.
That's the hardest quarterback shot I've ever seen. Oh, man.
Boy, Sharice Wright had set sail.
He's still sailing somewhere, probably. I mean, when the ball hits the ground, great job of stripping and Wright picking it up. And I mean, Andrew Luck brought the wood.
Boy, if his quarterback thing doesn't work out, he's got a linebacker future.
Yeah, but you know what? All seriousness aside here, you've got a defense now, USC going in there stripping, making a play, getting the ball back in their guys' hands.
And they still have time on this first half clock, and now certainly the emotion
play is under further review.
Will be on their side. They're going to review that fumble. It looked like the ball came loose well before the runner was down.
Sharice, that's what they're saying. Buddy, he busted you hard.
Watch this again.
That ball's out, clearly.
Yeah.
There's just a zero question about that ball being out. Now it's out again.
Jeez. What a shot. I mean, quarterbacks aren't supposed to do that, are they?
Well, I've never seen one hit like that.
Neither has Sharice Wright.
Yeah, he'll take a little grief for that, and I guarantee you Wright will try to load up and come back and make up for that somewhere. But this USC defense making a play when they needed to make a play.
Yeah, to their credit.
Absolutely, man. I mean, around it and flying to the ball. They had a couple of breakdowns on assignments in this drive. but at the end of the day, stepping up when they had to. Such an important part of the game, too, with momentum going to halftime.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. First down.
USC has 2 timeouts left and 38 seconds on the clock.
You know, and to pay off my thought on this USC defense, they've allowed 247 yards in this half. That's a lot, but they got 2 takeaways and 5 drives.
They can live with that.
Yes.
Especially against Stanford. Sharice Wright laughing about that hit. Fortunately, he can laugh about it. Barkley goes to the shotgun. Set a big first half. Flanker screen. Johnson got all he could and got out of bounds.
I tell you, one of the things that's been a surprise for me in this half offensively, easily the play of Robert Woods. And the yards after the catch has been a big part of this half for USC.
This might come into play on this drive. The field goal kicking situation for USC has been on the verge of being a disaster this year. They've only made 2 out of 7 field goals. It was open competition in practice this week. Nobody able to do anything. Barkley through the hands of Johnson. A terrific throw. They would have been at the 15-yard line. Got to catch that ball.
The courage Barkley showed in the pocket, knowing he's going to get hit, allowing his receiver Johnson to get down the field, a guy who came into this ballgame 26 catches, dependable, normally always catches those plays.
Being covered by a safety, Thomas a converted corner, but he was beaten, and Marisic came in and just crushed Barkley. Barkley short set this time. He takes off, slides in safely at the 40. And that will be a first down to temporarily stop the clock with 20 seconds left. It's an odd call. They give it to Tyler.
Yeah, I thought so. I mean, I would have called timeout, or I would have spiked the ball. I mean, there's something, but don't hand the ball off. That makes no sense whatsoever.
Number 2.5. It's a 30-second timeout.
Now there's only 7 seconds left. It's not like you were getting within field goal range by running it 3 yards further. I just don't get that.
It made no sense at all. Game Day had a really funny piece today on clock management this morning. Had to wake up, it seemed like at 5 in the morning to watch that.
We did. And there has been some funny clock management.
What's going on? It's almost like you've got to hire someone with a Stanford degree to stand on everybody's sidelines to figure out what tick, tick, tick means. Les Miles, the hat, has taken a lot of ribbon and provided a lot of fun jokes.
Somebody Google tick, tick, tick and see what's
it's going to say Les Miles. The hat.
Well, they put 1 second back on the clock. If you're USC, you can throw virtually anywhere. If it's short, you would have enough time to call timeout after the completion.
You got to be careful who you throw it to. Robert Woods, as much as he's done tonight, he might run and get tackled and run out the clock.
4-man rush. Barkley down the middle, incomplete, into the back of the defensive back, Harold Bernard. Now 3 seconds to go. From here, it would be a 54-yard field goal try, and I don't think you call on a guy who was 2 out of 6 with a long of 34 to do that.
I just think the ability the defense gave the offense to get the ball, a turnover, with a chance for points before the half, I thought clock management was poor and really is going to cost USC a chance at 3.
It was terrible. It cost them a lot of time.
30-second timeout.
And you just had a look at Joe Houston on the sideline.
And, you know, the explosiveness.
I still don't. I'm trying to justify in my own mind what that run play was supposed to do.
I don't know. I haven't done much since. 5 plays and 18 yards since the takeaway. But this has been really a half of explosiveness for USC. The yards after the catch. And, you know, when you talk about that, the way it's picked up, the best defense is a good offense, and that's played out in this football game. And certainly Robert Woods, the true freshman, with what he's done, 22 catches now, 188 yards after catch. I mean, it's just these receivers and what they've done after they've caught the ball has been explosive.
He's one of those typical USC recruits, big-time kid out of Carson, California. And now the only choice you have is a 54-yard field goal or you go for the end zone because there's only 3 seconds left. Stanford will drop very deep and Barkley will go to the shotgun.
Timeout, Stanford. Number
now
2
Stanford will take a timeout. Well, apparently nobody wants to go into the locker room with timeouts in their pocket because everybody is using them up as fast as they can. Hope you join Chris Berman and ESPN's popular 2-hour pregame show. Get all the news and the latest updates from stadiums around the league right up until kickoff. ESPN's Sunday NFL Countdown presented by IBM at 11 a.m. Eastern.
I saw out there one of the trips, 3 receivers to the right side, 84 Jordan Cameron. He's 6'5". You know, he's got a little background of basketball and ups in his past.
Barkley's job will just be to try to get it to the end zone. Hopefully Woods, Johnson, somebody else can make a leaping play. Stanford comes with 3 on the rush. Barkley with time to the end zone and out of the end zone. So Southern California gets the break on the turnover but fails to do anything with it at the end of the half. But you would think Lane Kiffin would be very happy going to the locker room 14-14. Let's join Shelley and Jim Harbaugh.
Coach, what do you think? What went through your mind when you see your quarterback make that hit?
Well, nothing he does surprised me. That was a heck of a shot. But we knew this was going to be a slugfest all night long, like a 3-hour arm wrestling match. And we go in, reorganize, refit, and then come out in the second half and reattack.
How do you disrupt their offense? They seem to get in a rhythm.
Yeah, you know, we gotta pressure the quarterback. We gotta keep tackling. I think we're doing a fairly good job. We just gotta know that every play is going to be important the rest of the night.
Great, thanks so much, Mike.
Thank you, Shelley. At the half, our score: Stanford 14, USC 14. Stay tuned for the Northwestern Mutual halftime report. John Saunders, Jesse Palmer after these messages. Welcome back to ESPN and ABC's Saturday Night Football, presented by Southwest Airlines. We are tied at 14 at Stanford, USC, and the Cardinal. USC's athleticism, yards after the catch, made a big difference in the first half.
You think?
I'm good.
Like nearly 200 yards after the catch by USC. Robert Woods, 7 catches, 122 yards. So Stanford in the locker room, I'm sure they're talking about their secondary, their linebackers matching up and catching and tackling receivers at USC, or it's going to be a challenging second half for Stanford's defense.
USC has done better on defense than we imagined.
Yeah, I think so. You know, I think they came in and they matched the intensity that they were looking for from their head coach and for their assistant coaches. They wanted to see if they'd be mentally in the game, and they are.
Kickoff will go through the end zone, and USC will start from the 20. Let's take a look at our Pacific Life game summary from the first half.
You know, and the third downs, USC 5 out of 7. There have only been 3 attempts by Stanford on 3rd down, but I think that's a really important point there. And the turnover that USC got from Stanford right before half, keep that in the memory bank. Poor clock management. They got nothing out of that.
They'll start from the 20-yard line. Barkley back to throw on 1st down. Woods again to the 37-yard line. Let's check in with Shelley.
Lane Kiffin told me what they have to do defensively is tackle. They are not tackling the way they want to, but you've got to remember this team didn't tackle all of training camp and doesn't tackle in practice during the week. So basically they play two-hand touch. They've got to get it together in the second half to stop Andrew Luck from beating them.
Hey, good point, Shelley. And you know what? Spring training's over with. 2 days are over with. They've been tackling a few weeks now. They better get it on tonight.
Well, as far as Woods, it doesn't look like Stanford has been doing too much practice tackling either, because he has just been going through everybody. Barkley throws this one away. Johnson was the only guy in the neighborhood, but he was covered like a blanket. And Barkley tossed it away.
And going back to our conversations with Lane Kiffin talking about Matt Barkley, the next level for Barkley is 3rd downs. It's the big play, and he's doing it 90% of the time. It's just the 1, maybe 2 snaps a game, the big difference plays that will vault him into that real high category.
Lane Kiffin says he is really good. He can be great if he can hit those big plays. From the 37, 2nd and 10. Maybe 2 yards, and that's all for Dylan Baxter.
Well, last week, USC was so close to putting the game away against Washington so many times. That's a throw Barkley makes 9 out of 10 times. Coming down then on 3rd and 4. Clock very much a part of the game. They misfire there. So those kind of plays are what you've got to make to finish an opponent off. This is an undefeated team if they make 1 or 2 of those plays.
Barkley to the shotgun on 3rd and long. Stanford comes with a 5-man rush. Out in the flat to the tight end, Cameron. Cameron breaks a tackle, trying to get to the sticks, and he'll be a couple of yards shy.
Nice movement there by a big guy that weighs 235, 240 pounds. But again, that's 8 yards, 9 yards after catch. That almost gave up a 1st down there.
They flexed the tight end out that time. And now Drew Terrell will go back to the 15-yard line to await the punt of Harfman. USC running a player on very late. Now they go to this odd formation. Nice high floating kick. And Stanford will have to start from the 8-yard line after a 49-yard punt. Well positioned to the far sideline. Let's check in with Shelley.
Commissioner of the Pac-10, Larry Scott, tell me, you've had meetings, you've had a lot of talks, a lot of going on. Where does realignment stand right now?
Well, we've had to move pretty quickly with Colorado coming to us a year early, so we've got a lot to figure out already for next season. In particular, how we're going to create divisions, where we're going to organize a football championship game, and how we're going to divide revenue in the future.
And how do you balance all that with the passion of rivalry games?
Rivalries are part of the DNA of this conference. You know, we've got traditional rivals up and down, so that's sacrosanct, the rivalry games. Then we're going to build a schedule around that.
Okay, thanks so much.
Taylor off the left side, breaks the tackle, crosses the 10. Pickup of about 3. Of course, those conference alignments, you start wondering, what are we going to call everybody? I mean, nobody has the number of teams that their conference name would indicate they should have.
It's going to be one of those where just call me anything, I'm glad to be around.
Taylor again. Nice move to get free. Takes it out to the 16, about a yard shy of a 1st down.
Now, Larry Scott has come into this Pac-10 conference at the right time. He's given this a business feel. Great visionary, and he'll do the right moves and the right things to protect his conference from a revenue standpoint.
And they are certainly on an upswing. This is the strongest this conference has been in football from top to bottom that I can recall in a long time. 3rd and a yard. They'll go with a power formation. Taylor, the deep man. And he'll get the carry behind Marisic. And he's got the first down out at the 21.
Stay with the flashing red. As things change, Colorado jumps out. Nebraska jumps out. Big 10 shrinks, or grows. The Big 12 shrinks. That's a nice deal. The Pac-10, that Colorado-Utah, nice additions.
That pass incomplete off of Ryan Whalen's hand. Whalen is coming back from an elbow injury, and he was well covered by Morgan.
You know, when you take this drive here, though, for instance, when you're looking at USC's defense, when you see a running back, when's the last time you saw a running back dance in the line and then go pick up 5 or 6 against USC?
Yeah. Never happened in the last 15 years.
Nope.
But they are definitely not as strong. They're not as deep. They're not as athletic. Luck underneath. Been better off if that one had not been caught by Taylor in the flat. He might have lost a yard.
One thing we know for certain, Monty Kiffin, defensive coordinator at USC, very smart, watches what an offense is doing. He makes adjustments. And Jim Harbaugh knew that he'd be going against a master over there in Kiffin, and that he would not be vanilla on defense. So this is a cat and mouse game coming out of halftime, making adjustments.
There's Monty Kiffin, who enjoyed his greatest success under Tony Dungy as the defensive coordinator with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And it was his Tampa 2 defense that was the rage of the NFL. Whalen makes the catch, has a first down. Stanford moves the chains after a gain of 18.
And you know what?
The difference in the pros, Craig, when you come in here and you play option teams, you can't play the Tampa 2. It just doesn't work.
It doesn't work. But you see there, just as the pocket breaks down, Luck not thinking about running. Luck looking down the field, finding his receiver. And you're right about that Tampa 2. And of course, that was so good in the NFL, but it just doesn't work against a lot of these running teams.
Of course, one of the stars of that Tampa 2 was a Stanford graduate, John Lynch, who was as good a safety as there was in the NFL for 8-9 years. Taylor, nice move to get free across midfield for the first down. So many missed tackles. That time, Nickel Roby, the corner, looked to be able to shut it down after a gain of 5 or 6. He just whiffed.
Watch the penetration into the backfield when you get here, and yet it does not disrupt the running play. USC's defensive line gets back there, but there's nobody else filling the lane. There's nobody else getting in that gap next door. When you get that tight penetration and push a runner, you're supposed to make the play.
Stanford in USC territory. Taylor.
Like that.
That's how to hit somebody. Shane Horton, second string outside linebacker, trying to move up to first string after that shot.
His dad's Mike Horton, you know that. Mike Horton, Gemini, used to be one of my teammates. Remember the
Was he really?
Yeah.
That was on American Gladiator.
Yeah. He smoked me off of one of those pillars one night in a packed house, Reunion Arena. We were supposed to be having fun with each other, and he just drilled me.
Well, he was having fun. Play action by Luck. Plenty of time. Wide open. He's got the tight end Fleener. It will be first and goal, Stanford, after a gain of 36.
Well, we saw this in the video we showed you with our EA earlier. Linebacker level and secondary coming up on the play action, creating a major void right behind the linebacker level. Showed it to you early in the game. There it is again. Those linebackers just jumping up in there, and they're leaving that big void behind them. And Fleener goes in with a nice reception and a beautiful touch, accurate throw by Luck.
Absolutely perfect. Hit him in stride. Fleener is the man in motion. Taylor, no room there. And he'll lose a yard back to the 10. Middle linebacker Devon Kennard. made the stop.
Each game has been a challenge to stop the 20-yard plays by this USC defense, and tonight they've given up 2 on the ground and 3 through the air. That's not a good trend.
No, that's just dreadful. And they're lucky they haven't been burned more in terms of yardage by those plays. Luck on 2nd and goal. Little shovel pass, Taylor inside the 5 near the 3. Well, even though it looked like they telegraphed what was going to happen on that play, it still worked for 7 yards.
Just nice play calling by both teams. Formation, movement, changing things, not letting the defense set in there and really get a good feel for what's coming at them.
This will be the 12th play of the drive, 3rd and goal from the 3. Jim Harbaugh doesn't want to settle for a field goal. He wants to get it in there. Luck. And that looked like miscommunication, and here come the flags. It was intended for Baldwin. Looked like he turned to the inside and Luck threw outside, probably because of the contact.
Pass interference. Defense, number 23. First down at the spot of the foul.
That's Shane Horton, the linebacker.
Yeah, and you know, you're going to see Baldwin coming from the right side, and he's trying to come underneath. Horton's got him. You know, he just hit it. They kind of run into each other.
First and goal after the penalty.
Five guys on that left side of that center lined up. That's some beef. That's a lot of meat on that line right now.
Taylor. Gain maybe a half a yard. If an unbalanced line is 1 extra guy, what is 2 extra guys?
That's an extra double cheeseburger up there that you got to account for. And that time Horton got up in there, did a nice job, and we saw again 48 Owen Marisic, a two-way starter in the ball game in a critical situation.
This guy is something. He played almost 120 plays last week as the starting fullback and the starting middle linebacker. Taylor behind Marisic. It's about the 1.5 yard line.
Mike, here's where you really have to, if you're at least USC's defensive coach, worry about the inexperience back there. Really everybody up trying to stop in a play action. It's just, you've got to tell them, do your job, don't try to do your partners.
I was just going to say the same thing. This cries for play action, doesn't it? 13 plays so far, 92 yards so far. They still need another 1.5. Tight formation. Taylor dives, touchdown. And I will almost guarantee you that is because of Jim Harbaugh's toughness that they called that play instead of play action. We are going to get it done. I can almost guarantee you. 7 minutes and 27 seconds on the drive. Seven-point lead with the point after.
4 for 4 on third down there. And you know what, Mike? You asked Jim Harbaugh last night that question. When you came to this conference, you told him, Coach, I bet you bring that Big Ten mentality here. He said, thank you very much.
Farmers Insurance bringing you aerial coverage of the game and coverage for your auto, home, life, and business. Jim Dexter, the pilot of the Zeppelin tonight. Jeff Vaughn is our cameraman, getting those beautiful shots for us. Another good kickoff into the end zone. USC down by 7 will start from its own 20-yard line when we come back to Stanford.
Saturday Night Football on ABC, presented by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Pacific Life. For insurance, annuities, and investments, choose Pacific Life, the power to help you succeed. And the new Ford Fiesta. It's a pretty big deal.
Stanford Stadium, about 20 minutes south of downtown San Francisco. Standing room only crowd of 50,000 plus tonight to see the 16th ranked Cardinal take on USC. And right now Stanford is leading 21-14, 5:39 to go third quarter. And now it's up to Matt Barkley to get his team another touchdown and tie it up again. Bradford, the tailback. Instead, they throw it to Johnson. Flanker screen, trying to use his speed, got out near the 25. Randy Moss is back in Minnesota, and Brett Favre takes the Vikings to New York on ESPN's Monday Night Football to face Mark Sanchez and the Jets. ESPN's Monday Night Football at 8:30 Eastern. Vikings are a team of the future is now. They're going with a veteran quarterback, a veteran wide receiver. If you're going to win it, now's the time to do it. Bradford is the tailback on 2nd and 6. Student body right. And Bradford slammed as he got to the corner. Delano Howell.
They say Howell is really a strong player and a great tackler, leads this team in tackles, and you see why. When 26 comes up on his responsibility, he's not waiting on a blocker. He's bringing the wood.
Boy, he did. And he's taking on a guy that's 235 pounds, too. Third and 5. Big third down here. Stanford shows blitz. They come with it. Johnson makes the catch, has a first down at the 35. Batamosi couldn't stay with him, and another nice throw by Barkley.
You know, and it's the formation. I love the 2 tight end look because it puts a lot of folks inside and gives you that single on the outside. Now they're 6 of 9 on third down conversions, and Barkley, this is pitch and catch. Bunch him up on the inside and get the one-on-one on the outside with your receivers. Johnson's not going to drop 2 tonight. He already has 1. He won't do it again.
Johnson and Woods have had really good games catching passes from Barkley. Bradford trying to get outside, cuts it back, runs into another solid tackle, but takes it up to the 39.
And all the time that this is going on right now, there's that number 13 out there, that true freshman, Robert Woods, who had the big first half, 7 catches, 122 yards. He has 1 in this half. You can't go to sleep. The secondary, the 2 corners, they were told going into this game, don't get beat deep. They need to be focused as well now on don't get beat after the catch.
Well, Lane Kiffin has to be happy about one thing. He said we have to get the ball more to Woods and Johnson, and tonight they have done that. Barkley under some pressure. Got it back to Woods after the catch. There he goes again. Woods in a foot race. They'll never get him. He got a block from his fullback, Stanley Havili, that sprung him for 61. And the yards after the catch, how huge for USC. 9 catches for Woods, only 200 yards. Whoa.
Is that my headset echoing, or did I just say don't go to sleep on Woods?
I believe that's exactly what you said.
I don't think Jim Harbaugh heard it.
Both of these quarterbacks have been spectacular tonight. Houston to tie it at 21. And there's a flag.
Dead ball, delay of game, 5-yard penalty, try.
Well, with their kicking problems, I wouldn't want to add 5 more yards on anything. Houston has not missed an extra point, but he's only hit 2 out of 6 field goals. Five yards was no problem. Matt Barkley, 18 out of 26 for 285 yards. Robert Woods has 200 of the 285. Welcome back to ESPN on ABC's Saturday Night Football, presented by Southwest Airlines. We are tied at 21. Well, they said they've got to do a better job of getting the ball to Robert Woods. Congratulations. Standing ovation to the Southern Cal coaching staff. They have done a better job, and look what he's done. 200 yards. The school record is 260. Chris Owusu cut down short of the 20-yard line.
That touchdown is a result of great effort by Havili getting to the flat, pulling out, allowing an easy pitch and catch to Woods. And then it's execution and the storyline of the game. Yards after the catch, run after the catch. 58 here. Havili with the hit. I would say this is the most impressive Woods on the Stanford campus, not named Tiger, in the last 15 years.
Stanford will start from its own 18-yard line. Luck forced up in the pocket. He'll take off. Slides in safely at the 32. It's a first down.
He already runs like an NFL quarterback, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. He hits harder than any of them.
That's a fact. Yeah, this is a pretty balanced offensive attack here so far in this game. About 340 yards each. We knew the two offenses would be good. We didn't know if USC's defense would be able to slow down Stanford's enough.
So far, probably better than they thought they would do. Wilkerson comes into the ball game and bursts up to the 39. Phillips with a nice block out in front, big number 71. Wilkerson is a guy they think may be the starter by the end of the year. He just has so much skill. They need to get him a little bit more experience. He's a true freshman out of Foothill Ranch, California.
Well, they gave him the nickname the Juice, or has a lot of juice. He can move. He's got all of the whole package.
Taylor is back in there on second and about 3.5. And Taylor will get the carry. Hit at the line of scrimmage. Does not even get back to the sticks.
Now here comes a critical part now for this USC defense. Stanford's offense has been 50% tonight on third down. It's been a challenge for USC. It's what Monty Kiffin strives for. 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, and he hopes to get teams off the field. Feels like that's his specialty.
There are only 4 teams in the entire country ranked worse in pass defense than USC. Luck to throw. Blitz coming. Runs away from pressure. And caught at the sideline by Owusu. What a grab. 30 yards, and what a throw by Luck just to get it in the vicinity.
Falling backwards, throws the ball down the field 40-plus yards to a one-on-one guy that he knows will go up and catch it. Again, USC's pass defense, you just made the comment in the statement, not good at all. And third down, a sore thumb for this USC defense.
Jawanza Starling never saw the ball. Playing the man, the pass is complete. First down at the 33. Luck under pressure again, wants the screen. Wilkerson Runs away from tacklers, still on his feet inside the 10. Boy, he's got a burst.
There's a burst taking place right now on the inside, trying to get to Andrew Luck. But his ability, Dan Marino-esque, buying that extra yard, that yard and a half to get the ball off, that time to Wilkerson, is just frustrating this USC pass defense.
We talked about the big plays that USC that has allowed this year. It has just killed them, and it's doing it again tonight.
Now, those last two plays that he's made by backing up with his feet, buying that time, 29 yards and 25 yards.
For some guys, it's just not worth blitzing. Luck may be in that category. This presentation of Saturday Night Football, presented by Southwest Airlines, will continue after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Welcome back to Stanford. We are in a 21-21 ball game, but the Cardinal is driving. They have reached the 8-yard line. And they have taken Luck's brace off of that left knee. I think the brace was broken. I'm amazed they don't have a backup if that's the case. Luck pump fake, throws for the end zone, and that's going to be interference at the goal line. What just an unbelievable play by Michael Morgan. He just threw a block into the chest of Zach Ertz, the tight end, and flattened him. He had no idea where the ball was. I mean, that is just the kind of play that the secondary's made the entire game. It makes you wonder what he's thinking.
That's interference. Defense. First down at the 2-yard line.
And Morgan is a hybrid linebacker, safety type, who's been back in coverage a lot, and just a knucklehead, bonehead play. And now, it would not have been an interception, but it is absolutely a big play against this USC defense.
So it's first and goal from the 2. Will Jim Harbaugh choose to pound it in again?
He's got the beef to the left.
Very good red zone percentage. Tied for 12th in the country. Luck to throw on first down, trying to scramble, throws back, touchdown, Ruland. Conrad Ruland, the senior, with his first catch of the year in the end zone.
Well, the fact that Ruland works hard for his quarterback and runs back to the left, Luck never gave up on him, had confidence in his tight end that he would move to an open spot.
Whitaker to make it a 7-point game again. And it's 28-21 Stanford. A big exhale from Jim Harbaugh. His 4-1 ball club is back on top by a touchdown, and Luck with another touchdown pass. ABC's new drama, Detroit 187. Great cops made in Detroit. When it's your hometown, everything is personal. Michael Imperioli and James McDaniel star in Detroit 187 on ABC, Tuesday at 10, 9 Central. Ruland with his first touchdown catch of the season, and it couldn't have come at a better time to put Stanford on top by a touchdown. It's been back and forth the entire game. Now we'll see if USC can hold serve with Matt Barkley. Woods, who has done so much damage after catching passes, trying to do the same on his return, still on his feet. Check into the studio. Robert, what do we have?
Well, Mike, we got an update. AT&T All-America Player of the Week update. South Carolina's Steven Garcia. Fabulous today. 17 of 20, 201 yards, 3 touchdowns. Gamecocks get the win over #1 Alabama, 35-21. First time in school history South Carolina has beaten a #1. You can text VOTE to 345-345 to take part and for a chance at a trip to the national championship.
They'll be dancing in the streets in Columbia. And you got to be happy for Garcia. He has not had the smoothest career at South Carolina, but what a huge win for him there. Quickly to the outside to Johnson, and Johnson breaks a couple of tackles. May have picked up a first down.
It's going to be tough to put that AP ballot in tomorrow morning. I'm telling you, the shuffling, and with Alabama losing, it's who's going to be up there at the top. Auburn tied with Kentucky. Arizona going down. Oregon, not really impressive, but they did win. Followed up a very important emotional win the week before.
Bradford, the tailback, behind Havili. Barkley with a lot of time, now flushed. Stays on his feet, 40, 30, and out of bounds. Great run by Matt Barkley. 27 yards.
Now this goes back to Lane Kiffin. My quarterback will be a great quarterback when he makes the one or two smart big plays in a football game. It first starts because he doesn't just throw it down the field, Mike. There's nobody to throw it to. Then he's patient, allows his blockers to get there, and gets out of bounds. That is leading your football team.
USC had struggled on the ground. 20 carries for 52 yards. That was for 27. Bradford, nice cutback. And then taken down at the 26-yard line. Shane Scove, number 11, led the defensive charge.
Yeah, you know what? Some of these teams now, the BCS standings come out in another week.
Right.
And it's, so there's a lot of jockeying going on, trying to impress voters. The Stanford football team, although they lost last week to a really good Oregon team, needed a good showing and a win tonight to stay up high in the polls.
Dylan Baxter in the Wildcat formation. He'll keep it. And they'll whistle the play dead. And there was a timeout for USC, presumably called from the bench.
USC.
Before that
Number
play.
1 and a half. Media timeout.
Well, here's something for you to think about. Does that Alabama loss, with the idea that there might be 3 or 4 undefeated teams, including Boise and TCU, if Alabama finishes with 1 loss, does that knock them out of the national championship?
No, not as long as you. If you're in the SEC and you win that championship with 1 loss, you're still in the hunt. Absolutely, you're still in the hunt. Now, there's another one here for you that somebody, Tweety Bird, came by with a really good what-if scenario. What if Ohio State and Michigan State, who don't play each other in regular season, both in the season undefeated, Alabama has 1 loss.
Do they go to the national championship?
Well, you have Big Ten guys, Michigan State and Ohio State, square off. Just a thinking.
And that is part of today's Big Picture, brought to you by Sony. It is the review of the Big Picture for the day. South Carolina, and they earned this. This was no fluke. The win over Alabama at home. And Michigan State stays undefeated. They knock off their arch rival. And Oregon State upsets undefeated, previously unbeaten in the conference, Arizona, number 9. So it has not been an easy day for favorites.
Not surprised, though, Oregon State winning that game. They're a good ball club.
Baxter cuts it back to the 15-yard line. That's going to be another first down. Scove makes another tackle. This kid brings you an extra dimension, doesn't he?
Yeah, Dylan Baxter said this week that he wasn't quite selling out, giving it at all that he has. This is the type of effort that you have to make in college football that you didn't in high school. You have to break at the line of scrimmage a shoulder tackle. You have to work through that. Baxter's got a lot of upside. Now he's got to do it every play.
As a high school senior, he rushed for 2,984 yards. He passed for almost 2,000 and was responsible for 79, count them, 79 touchdowns. These are not misprints. These are actual numbers from his high school senior year in San Diego. That pass, and Barkley threw it into the end zone intended for Woods.
And that was a misfire there because Woods was open. There was that window of opportunity between corner and safety. Now back to Baxter. They've got a lot of good young players on this team, and I know they've lost depth on the roster, but they've got good young talent that can step up and make them continue to compete.
Bradford back in at tailback. Quick completion down to the 5-yard line to Carswell. Looks like it may be just shy of a first down.
And so this is where, when you get to this point here, the old USC teams we knew would get big and they would play physical. We've seen Stanford get big and physical, short yardage goal line. Time now for the Trojans offensive line to answer the call.
Well, that's what they're lining up to do. Tyler is in as the tailback on 3rd and inches. Tyler hitting the backfield. He did not make it. Now what do you do if you're Lane Kiffin?
I don't think Lane Kiffin thinks that 3 points is going to win the football game for him. I think you got to go get the first down. You're on the road against Andrew Luck.
I think he's probably scared to death to send his field goal kicker on the field anyway.
Right call here. Go for it.
Fourth and a yard. To the end zone. Touchdown. Woods wide open. What a great call. 4th and a yard. You've got to sell out against the run. They throw it and get the touchdown. Now this will be a night Woods will remember the rest of his life. 10 carries or 10 catches, 206 yards, and 3 touchdowns. The point after to tie it. 28 all. What a game.
What a great call by the coaches. In the slot, acting like a tight end, they put the true freshman Robert Woods. And you put the ball in the hands of your best players when you got to get the job done. Barkley to Woods.
Saturday Night Football on ABC, presented by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online, only at southwest.com. Nissan, proud partner of the Heisman Trophy. And Liberty Mutual Insurance. Responsibility. What's your policy?
Well, what a good ball game. We're tied at 28. USC and Stanford. The Cardinal will get the ball back momentarily. And Woods has had a remarkable ball game. Owusu is deep. Good kick by Harfman. Owusu from the goal line. Look at his speed. Owusu down the sideline. Caught from behind at the 13-yard line. A saving tackle by Sharice Wright, but it's a return of 87 yards. There's also a flag because I think they're going to call a horse collar on the tackle. Boy, can Wright fly.
Horse collar tackle, number 24. Happiness to the goal. First down.
Owusu can motor, and Sharice Wright chased him down.
I think Owusu is so good at this because he goes full tilt. He's full speed, can stop and redirect. Now, I know this is a horse collar, but at least Sharice Wright stopped a touchdown from happening. Great effort, great speed by Wright to come down the field, catch up with Owusu.
First and goal from the 6. Movement up front, that's going to cost Stanford 5 yards.
Prior to the snap, false start. Offense, number 80, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Sam Knapp will be called for the false start. Jim Harbaugh checking the clock.
Very smart, well-played game by Stanford. Only the third penalty against them in this game.
Luck goes to the shotgun. First and goal now back at the 11. Draw play, Taylor. And he's waxed as he picked up a couple. Armand Armstead, who moved out to defensive end from tackle tonight because of the injury to Wes Horton, made the stop.
That's a good point, Mike. Not much depth here on this team. And you see that front defensive line, a talented, strong, big, aggressive defensive line. They just don't have the depth.
Well, without that depth, they've got to be dragging now at this point in the ball game.
Offense has saved them tremendously tonight by keeping the ball for 24 minutes of this game, giving them a little bit of a breather.
Luck shifts the strength of the formation on second down. Taylor again. 7 or 8 yard line. This will bring up a third and goal from a long way away.
It is a long way away, but this Stanford offense has scored twice down here now recently. One by just pounding it, blue collar, then coming back with a play action, tight end finding a way to get open. It's really hard to defend against balance.
Third and goal. They'll spread the field this time. Four-man rush. Luck with time over the middle. Touchdown. Baldwin was wide open. And a little crease of a smile on the face of Jim Harbaugh. How do you get that wide open?
I'll show you here in just a little bit. It's just a great job by the tight end coming off, creating a little natural pick, not letting the defender stick with Baldwin.
Well, we said maybe the last team with the ball wins. It's starting to look like it, isn't it? Extra point, no. Yanked left by Nate Whitaker. That's his third missed extra point this year. What a huge turn of events.
Mike, you think Harbaugh, after that two-point conversion last year, might want to borrow one of those points
just
this year?
There's the huge return and the horse collar penalty on top of it. And then Luck. Well, there was no luck involved in that one.
Execution.
Stanford doesn't know whether to celebrate or worry. They just got the go-ahead touchdown but missed the extra point. Woods from the 5. Runs into his own man and taken down shy of the 25-yard line. The missed extra point by Whitaker. Will this come back to haunt them? Just yanks it.
Was there a hand on the ball that redirected the kick?
Didn't look like it.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, one thing we know for certain in this half here, Stanford's offense, 3 possessions, 3 touchdowns, 174 yards. USC has matched it, though, and that extra point, if the trend continues as it's been in this football game of back and forth, it's going to play a large role.
Jarek Lancaster was the injured player, but he's up and able to come off under his own power. Number 35. Well, this puts a different spin on it for USC. They've had their share of kicking problems this year, but not with a missed extra point. Tyler will start this series at tailback. When they come out throwing, Woods makes the catch, and for one of the few times tonight, as soon as he caught it, he's taken down.
USC's offense averages 47 points a game. 36 points a game. And it is an offense that has not had a problem being successful this year. Matt Barkley is more decisive with where he's going with the ball, and his receivers have had lots of yards after the catch tonight.
Barkley has been sensational. Back to throw. Missed that one, intended for Johnson. He was double covered, short and long, so it'll bring up a big third down. And these are the downs that Lane Kiffin talked about. His quarterback can go from being very, very good to being great by converting plays just like this one.
They're 6 of 10 on the night. They've been great tonight on third down. They didn't get it done last week against Washington. See if they can do it tonight.
Woods flanks to the top of your screen, and now they want to send Johnson over there as well. And Barkley's going to have to use the timeout. He just couldn't get them lined up in time.
Timeout, USC.
Play clock was down to 1, and that was their second timeout here in the second half. With a strong performance in Kansas, Jimmy Johnson has the lead in the chase, but Denny Hamlin and Kevin Harvick are right behind. The chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup continues with the Pepsi Max 400 at California on ESPN tomorrow afternoon at 3 Eastern. And here are the point leaders. Johnson leads by 8 over Hamlin.
No harm in that timeout there, Mike. I know you don't want to have to use them up, but I mean, this play here, in order to continue to keep volley and points.
Hold serve.
Hold serve. I was looking for that. Thank you.
Well, certainly you didn't want to call you didn't want to get a 5-yard penalty here, but you hate to see somebody use the timeout with 8:42 to go in the half.
Well, between the two games, 6 possessions, 5 touchdowns. You better convert or you're in trouble.
Barkley facing a 3rd and 5. Woods and Johnson both to the left. Pressure coming. Barkley. Johnson made the catch to the 45-yard line of Stanford, a gain of 25. What a throw by Barkley. Somehow that ball got through.
Stanford decides to go with a 4-man rush. They're going to drop 7. They feel the route. They see the route. Barkley stays in the pocket, waits to the very last second, and the focus of Ronald Johnson, who dropped a big play in the first half to finish that play on third down, comes through.
Boy, there's another situation where a defensive back, Delano Howell, did not see the ball. If he had, he could have easily knocked it down. Bradford tries to cut it back, and Shane Scove is there. Barkley has thrown for 341 yards in this game, hit 23 out of 33. Well, you can't complain about either quarterback tonight. They have been sensational. And we have a player down for Stanford.
I believe it's 11, Shane Scove, linebacker.
Oh, he was in on the tackle. Got a chance to get an update from the studio while we have a second. Here's Robert.
All right, Mike, Sports Center right now, presented by Sprint. Tampa Bay Rays extend their season, beating the Rangers 6-3. Game 4 tomorrow at the ballpark in Arlington. Yankees are leading the Twins 6-0 in the 7th. They're on the verge of closing out Minnesota. And Marcus Lattimore, 3 touchdowns for number 19 South Carolina as they take out number 1 Alabama 35-21. Mike, great.
All right, thank you, Robert. And it is Shane Scove. But he's up and able to come off under his own power. Quarterbacks tonight have thrown combined for almost 600 yards.
Now, when you compare these two quarterbacks coming in, we expected brilliance from both. Neither have disappointed.
3 touchdowns, no picks for either. Now they'll whistle it dead on 2nd and 7 before the snap.
Set the game clock to 7 minutes 59 and started on my whistle.
All right, they'll add 3 seconds to the clock. Can USC keep the drive alive? A touchdown and an extra point would put them back ahead. Johnson is drilled and separated from the football, and that time Howell knew exactly where it was and knew exactly where Johnson was and unloaded.
Howell now has made 2 vicious, violent, strong, really good hits in this football game, and a nice throw again by Barkley. This is all excellent. This is all about the defense making a better play than the offense. Up, through the arms, through the ball, timely.
You don't often hear vicious violence and good put together in the same sentence.
Only if you're a defensive coordinator.
That's right. Another huge 3rd down. Blitz coming. Barkley runs away from pressure and throws for the 1st down. Tyler coming out of the backfield. What presence by Barkley.
8 of 12 on 3rd down now. So you've got a chance to see how Barkley is able to avoid the pressure, buy the extra time, and find his receiver coming out and coming open with Tyler. It's a great job of Tyler himself. Not running beyond help, but staying in the middle of the field more or less where he has his receivers.
Stanford tried to dial up the pressure. Barkley flanker screen. Would have been better off if that was incomplete. Carswell behind the line of scrimmage.
And the only reason that Barkley threw that ball is the defensive back was so far off. That's an automatic. And Barkley's mad at himself for not getting his feet out there where he can throw that ball to his receiver.
And that's an automatic at the line called by the quarterback when he sees that kind of separation. 2nd down, Barkley again got a good block, has a chance, knocked away, and that's the 2-way middle linebacker, Owen Marisic. Had over 110 plays a week ago. There's only a handful of people who are physically capable of doing this, less than that mentally capable of doing this, being a starting inside linebacker and being a starting fullback and still having a 3.88 grade point average in human biology. Another huge 3rd down. They come with a blitz. Barkley, his receiver stops. The pass is incomplete. Now 4th down. What do you do, Craig James?
Now, at this point here, with 7 minutes to go, and you only have 1 timeout left, you're in that no man's land. Ideally, on 3rd down, you would have picked up something. They've been very productive on converting, but they haven't had to do it on 3rd and 10, and against a blitz, a new look by Stanford.
They're going to go. I think Stanford finally got tired of just letting them stand back there and pick them apart.
Yards after the catch been a big part of this game.
Fourth down, blitz coming. They don't get there. Johnson, too strong. And even though they didn't get the sack, they got the pressure. Chase Thomas coming off the corner. It's the philosophy that if you need some distance, you blitz and make them throw it early, they're not going to get it.
The sense of urgency when you're blitzing, defenses who understand it and have it in their helmets get to the quarterback because the timing and the clock is moving. They've gotten to Barkley. Now let's see if Stanford's offense can answer.
Farmers Insurance bringing you aerial coverage of this game and coverage for your auto, home, life, and business. Flying over Stanford Stadium, 6:54 to go. Stanford on top by 6. They make USC turn it over on downs, and they have the ball back. Starting from their own 32. Play action fake to Taylor. Marisic out of the backfield, out of bounds to stop the clock at the 37-yard line. First time they have thrown to Marisic, only his third catch of the season.
What a great player, though, really. You know, a guy, just an example of a student athlete, an intelligent guy, going both ways, trading days, practicing. One day he's with the offense, next day he's with the defense.
And doesn't think it's that much of a big deal. It's a big deal. Taylor gets it out to the 40. They need to get halfway between the 42 and 43 for a first down. At the start of the season, Jim Harbaugh came out and wrote a 900-page speech that he gave the team about Marisic. Here's one of the great quotes in it. "Now is the time to think of only one thing, that which I was born for. The 1,000 times I proved it meant nothing. Now I am proving it again." I just get chills.
That's deep.
There's a lot of schools you can't read that, you know.
That'll kick a lot of minds to the curb.
I mean, how many coaches write that? How many coaches write that and deliver it to their team before the first day of practice, talking about one of the players?
You know, I got one for you. I got one for you. How about the center? and the coach asked the center the question about scorched earth or earth scorched or something, and
scorched earth policy.
Yeah. And you know, Harbaugh's thinking, you know what, I got something I'm going to stump these guys with, right? And so he comes out and throws this great question out there. He has no idea that he's going to get anyone who has a chance of answering his question. He got blown away.
Yeah. Well, let me read you one other quote. Marisic has a habit of cracking helmets. Jim Harbaugh has several of them in his office. He asked Marisic to autograph one, and here's what he wrote on it. "Today, give all that you have, for what you keep inside, you lose forever." This is from a guy who has a 3.88 grade point average and plays both ways. He ought to know. Luck on the roll, trying to keep the drive alive, and down he goes. Back at the 28. There is a flag down. The sack will go to Chris Gallipo, number 54. Gallipo's a guy they think they need to have on the field a lot more.
I think they're going to get him for pass interference. USC finally gets a play, has a way to get to Andrew Luck.
Holding defense, number 17. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Results in a first down.
That's Michael Morgan, the outside linebacker, called for holding.
I mean, they're coming full tilt. Pressure, blitz comes on the inside. Luck has to move his pockets. Middle of your field.
Oh, yeah.
About the 47, 48-yard line. Clearly, he's holding on. And you know, you say, he wasn't going to have a chance to get it anyway. Well, that would have been perhaps a receiver to get in the vision of Luck.
So move the ball to midfield, and the clock starts to run again. 5:07 and counting. First down, Stanford. A field goal could put it out of reach. Taylor. Gallipo right there. Another solid tackle after a gain of 2.
You know, Mike, here's the question for you. All right, USC loses to Washington, very down. Question was, all right, Lane, how are you going to get your team up? Well, he's getting them up because it's Stanford.
Right.
If they lose here, this is a team that had aspirations of playing for the national championship. Now it's the conference. Now all of a sudden you've lost back-to-back. They're playing hard tonight. I like what they're doing, but there are a lot who believe and are concerned that if they lose back-to-back, it comes off the track.
Plus, the schedule just gets tougher and tougher as we go through October and November. The first 5 weeks, they probably played 5 of the easiest 6 teams they have on their schedule.
Whew. Well, and, you know, it's like today. Oregon State goes and beats Arizona. This is a good football conference.
Yes, it is.
You just can't say that there's any game on there that is going to be a layup for them.
Here's the rest of what USC has. Cal won today. Oregon, of course, number 3 or number 4 in the nation, depending on which poll you like.
Or number 1.
Or number 1 after this week. Arizona State, we've seen that they're pretty good. Arizona lost today, but they're good. Oregon State, Notre Dame and UCLA, those might be the easiest 2 games they have at the end of the season. It could be a disaster by then.
Okay, now I'll say this. If I'm coaching USC, if I'm running USC, you and I, we all talked to Pat Hayden, their new AD, former Trojan at halftime. I'd say if I'm Lane, fellas, come play at USC. You're going to play immediately. I got to have you. I need a great player. Heritage Hall, trophies, national championships. They've got young talent on this football team. They've got a guy like at running back Dylan Baxter who's not even getting a whole lot of carries. So step up and play and get better as the season goes along.
You mentioned Pat Hayden. There aren't many people in this country that I have more respect for than Pat Hayden as a human being, as a former player, as a businessman, and now as an administrator. He gave up an awful lot to go back to his alma mater to be the athletic director. He has pledged he will do it right. Nobody's going to do anything outside the rules, and if Pat Hayden says it, you can take it to the bank.
He got here. He tripled compliance directors to 15. From 5 to 15. They'll make sure they do it the right way.
Absolutely. Now they're taking a look at this play.
That ball is out. Absolutely. So who came up with it? Filippo gets in there, rips and strips. The third guy comes through. USC's rush defense, these last 10 carries, Taylor a long of only 3 yards, so they have stepped up and they have started penetrating, getting off of blocks, making plays.
I couldn't tell whether the ball came out before his knee was down. Could you see it?
I thought the ball came out. I thought that was easily a fumble, no question. Who came out of the pile with the ball? Who came out of the pile? Who gave the ball to the official?
That's an excellent question.
Flashback, Oklahoma, Oregon, several years ago. This is where I've made the comment to the officials around the country. They need to let viewers, us, know, just briefly. Right now, they could tell Shelly Smith down there, Shelly, here's what we're looking for. You know,
that would help.
It really would. It lets us all stay on the same page and helps us know what they're trying to identify.
But what a huge review this is. I mean, Stanford in Southern Cal territory, a couple of first downs are in field goal range. Chance to wrap this up.
After further review, the ball was fumbled and immediately recovered by USC. First down at the 48-yard line.
Hello, darling.
And one of the statements that the referee made, immediately recovered, is a key to this, too.
Yeah, he knew who had the football. They knew down there. They just were confirming that it was fumbled. That ball clearly came out.
Torrin Harris was the guy who ended up with it. There you see him, number 4.
There you go.
Yep. So Southern California gets the ball back at its own 48. Still plenty of time. 4:17 on the clock. And a huge mistake by Taylor not to protect that ball. Barkley looking toward the sideline. Bradford is the tailback. Bradford will get a carry. And hit by Scove behind the line of scrimmage. He'll lose a yard, maybe a yard and a half.
Yeah, but the mindset right now for USC is they've been given a gift. They got 4 downs. They're at midfield. They're looking 3 more snaps to get 10 yards. And I go back to this. The most productive, explosive player on the field tonight has been the freshman. The left side of the screen, the left of the field. Number 13, Robert Woods.
Barkley pressured out of the pocket, throws underneath. has his tight end, Cameron, be a couple of yards shy of a first down. It'll bring up a third, but you're right about being 4-down territory because they only have one timeout left. They can't give the ball up.
Lane Kiffin came in and challenged Matt Barkley to lose weight, to get in better shape, drop body fat. Barkley responded, lost 10 pounds. Because of the overall body conditioning now, you see the strength and athleticism of Barkley's arm this year compared to the past.
They have been better than their outstanding season average. They will go to the Wildcat formation on 3rd and 2. Tyler fakes it. Now he's going to throw. Has Havili, and he can't hold it. Holy cow. Just threw it a little bit too far. What a great fake. What a great call. Oh, man.
Stanley Havili is normally an extremely dependable player. He has 12 receptions for nearly 200 yards on the year. A 58-yard reception. Just outside the fingernails.
Oh, here it is. Ball game on the line, 4th and 2. Barkley back in. Throws out in the flat. Havili, first down. Knocked out of bounds inside the 30. So he's disappointed on one play. You turn around and throw it back to him again.
You know what? This is what I like about sports. It allows young men and women the opportunity to step back up. You fail, you get back up, get on the horse, ride it again. Stanley Havili coming through with a 4th down reception. Congratulations.
Havili playing with a bad shoulder that popped out last week. Another set of downs for USC. They need the touchdown. The field goal does them no good. The slant. Woods, no. They're ruling it incomplete. Looked like he made a great catch. 2:13 left.
Stanford's defense, when they've had their back against the wall in this half, we've seen them dial up a few blitzes, and they put pressure on Barkley, who's tried to heave it down the field unsuccessfully.
Well, when they haven't come with pressure, he has just been able to slice them and dice them. Back to throw, short set out to his tight end, who gets out of bounds at the 27-yard line. Cameron made the catch. We'd like to welcome all those of you who are watching Florida State and Miami. What a great one we have here. 2:07, the clock is running. Stanford leads by 6, but USC is driving. Barkley on 3rd down. 66.7%. This is 3rd and long. Last time they came with a blitz. This time they don't. Woods! Did he hold on? He did. That will be another first down. Woods has been absolutely unbelievable tonight.
In the first half, Woods opened the eyes with 7 catches, 120-plus yards. A true freshman, the go-to guy. 12 catches in this game, 224 yards and 3 touchdowns. A true freshman.
For the end zone, and that time Woods had a chance for the winning touchdown. He couldn't hold it. What a throw by Barkley. And I saw Woods' number. I'm thinking touchdown.
He hasn't dropped one tonight. He's been the most explosive player on the field. Barkley last week against Washington missed an opportunity for a touchdown to nail the game and finish it. He makes the throw tonight. It's the other end that didn't finish it.
It's tough to criticize a guy who has 12 catches for 223 yards and 3 touchdowns, but that's one he'd love to have another shot at. Barkley. Tyler goes up the middle to the 3. Check it, Bradford. It'll be another first down. They'll stop the clock with 1:15 to go.
We want to remind those who just joined us here. Stanford went down the field, scored a touchdown in the 4th quarter, missed an extra point. And the way this football game has gone, volleying back and forth, you had the feeling that whoever had the ball last would win the football game, and that missed extra point looming all so big.
Barkley with a chance to go over and talk to Lane Kiffin at the 1:15 mark. They had originally signaled first down, then they brought the chains out to measure to make sure it is first and goal. Bradford, the tailback, will get the carry. Picks his way, touchdown! With a chance for an extra point to put his club ahead. And got it. Owusu, who is a very dangerous kick return man, waits at the 2. Harfman to kick it away. Owusu 3 yards deep. Across the 20. 25. Luck has hit his last 9. Throws this one underneath, and they're going to stand up Baldwin. And a flag is down.
After the play, personal foul. Number 54, defense. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
That's Gallipo, who had played so well and makes such a huge mistake. Luck throws underneath. It's his tight end down to the 45-yard line. Be another first down. 44 seconds to go. Stanford with 2 timeouts.
Boy, is this not reminiscent of last week? Jake Locker, Washington going down the field for an attempted field goal to win.
4-man rush. Luck. Another 10 yards. They're trying to hold up Baldwin and take the ball away, but Baldwin's got another first down. The clock stops at 28. The field goal kicker is Nate Whitaker, who is perfect this year. In fact, he's made 14 in a row dating back to last year with a long of 46. Will he get a chance? Draw play. Taylor still on his feet to the 15-yard line. 16 seconds left. Let's see if they just want to center it up. Taylor goes out to the left side and gets out of bounds at the 12. And that's exactly what Luck does. Goes down at the 13. This is for the game. Right down the middle. Jim Harbaugh and Stanford come from behind to beat USC 37-35. Stanford is